Jai Baba Faru, Jai Baba Nick. Welcome to another edition of my YouTube video. You know, I think if there were maybe another 200,000 or 300,000 people who were interested in this, I might be famous someday. But for you two, I just hope I'm not trying your patience. We're back here today because you both expressed a preference for having just two panels be operable the way Nick had originally suggested, which is fine. And I was thinking about it last night, and there were just two questions that came up for me. The first one was how to open it, and the second one was how to support it. So the difference, of course, is the last one, this panel came up this way, and in this instance, the panel comes up this way. And the difference is, before, there was all the structure underneath, which something could be attached anywhere to support it in any number of configurations. In this instance, there's no place really to put something, and unless we make attachments on the outside, and even then, well, I'm sure there's a way, but I wasn't able to conceive of it last night. Since I couldn't figure it out, I decided to come down and rework the model so that we could all look at it in 3D again before we start building. I'd like to point out one other issue. If we have this come up this far, my understanding is if we take out the tree and we take out the garden area and make this level the same level as the pathway that goes to Mondley Hall, then the distance from the pathway to here is about 85, 86 inches, somewhere in that neighborhood. When we do this, we'll have the thickness of two panels, plus a little bit of extra, plus the hinge has to be extended again for the same reason as before. Altogether, this is going to be at least 8.5 inches, and it could grow, depending on how we do the structure, that could grow up to easily 12 inches. And so that means when this is open, the bottom of this, with a sharp edge all the way around because it's the sheet metal, is going to be just a little bit higher than 6 feet. So someone who is tall and comes looking could conceivably hit their forehead on the sheet metal. The other thing I'd like to point out is that the sheet metal, every time I think of sheet metal, my heart elevates, I get the willies, and the reason is because I've had significant damage, and my brother-in-law almost lost 8 fingers, and on job sites where there's sheet metal, I've seen serious accidents. So when I look at this, I think even the idea of grabbing here is something that we should avoid. It's just not something that's good. I think especially we need to be able to, whatever method we use, we want to be sure that we are completely in control of all the pieces as we let it down. If we lose control, or if someone of these laborers comes and decides to lower it and they lose control, that becomes a guillotine. That's dangerous. So I just want to be very mindful, and also when it's up and it's anchored, we have to be sure that a pilgrim can't come by and lean on a post somehow and all of a sudden the thing comes down. Because those pilgrims, you know, they've lost their minds. They're thinking about Baba. Their heart is with Baba. They're not paying attention to mechanics of buildings. So I just think we should be 100% deliberate in the choices we make. So this is one solution I came up with today as I was thinking about all this, and that is maybe we could affix an eye screw, and if we did this, instead of needing one on both sides of each panel, of each side, I think if we just had one in the middle, that would be sufficient. And then if we had a pulley here, if we pull this up, then this gets in the way. So we would have to have a second pulley over here so that the rope, the line, will come between the concrete column and the panels. And then somebody can just stand here and very gradually pull this up, and voila, we're done. If you want, we could put a latch here and make it close a little bit more. Otherwise, and then to let it down, it's very easy and very controlled. And then this could just be shut and locked from within. So pulling it up, letting it down, one person, pretty mindless once it's done, once they've done it once or twice. And the issue is, after the pilgrims go away and the residents in Faru, you're sitting around doing nothing. You'll have to look at this rope coming down across here. Alternatively, we could just put a carabiner that would hook on this, and the carabiner could be hoisted back up to here, so you would just see a rope from pulley to pulley and then down here. I don't think you'd have to take a ladder to go up and rethread it, so at the very least you'd have to have a rope here, here, and here, and we'll have to have, like a small eye hook that only have to be a ½ inch thick, or in diameter. And then I think we're done. So for those of you who haven't been sailing recently or mooring a boat, this is what a cleat would look like. This would be on the concrete, maybe on the concrete column coming down from the pulley. And this is all you do to tie it, is you take one loop around there, and then this takes a twist, and you've got a very attractive looking set of ropes there that is absolutely strong. This is what you would use to anchor a boat next to the dock. And to release it, you just give it a little bit of a push, and you're done. So, it's easy to do and easy to undo. So I'm not invested. This is what occurred to me today. And I'm sure there's always more than one way to skin a cat. Nick, I'd certainly invite you to explore other options. What I'm asking is that we kind of make a decision about this kind of thing before I leave, because I'd like to buy pulleys and cleats and eye screws before I go, if this is the option. If there is something else that we might do instead, it would be helpful to sort of know that in advance so that I can buy things here before I leave, so we don't have to make a trip to Puna. All right, thank you for your patience. I look so much forward to seeing you. Jai Bala.